Can you teach me how to lay out a floor plan? Yes, Rare, absolutely, I can. One big thing that I think will help you is just to start by literally starting with a box and then just kind of adding on from there, like this. And then I kind of have a distinct shape for the house. I'm just gonna tear down the walls that are right here that I do not need right now. This way I can kind of lay out a floor plan here for you. So this is a smaller house, obviously. So what I'm going to do is try and figure out how exactly this is going to work. So it's okay to have to delete and have to start over. It is okay. Don't stress yourself up about that. Something that can help you figure out which way you want the house to face, which in turn will help you figure out your floor plan, is to do the roofing first and then figure out if the roof looks better from one side than the other. So I'm real quick just gonna roof this house. So this is the house that I just quickly built to use for this. It's not too crazy big or anything. It's a pretty simple and basic home with a basic roof. This is going to be the front. This is going to be the back. So that helps figuring out which orientation you kind of want your house to be facing. That'll help you lay out the floor plan. Obviously, you're going to want the entry to be towards the front. What I'll do first is I'll probably build some walls that I'm actually going to tear down. So I'm going to build like this little entry area out and I'm just going to put it into a box. This is personally what I do is I separate my entry area, even though it might not actually be its own room once I actually start decorating. This could all be turned down and who knows, the living room could be right there when you walk in. The kitchen could be right there when you walk in. I always tend to put my kitchens towards the back of the house. You don't have to do it. I like to put a sliding door to the backyard and I feel like that looks really nice in a kitchen and it gives you the opportunity to get a lot more natural light into the kitchen than you would without one, because typically you wouldn't really have too many windows in a kitchen besides maybe over the sink or something. So I'm going to leave that as my entry area and then I might even block this off as well to make into a small living room area. Another thing that I think people struggle with laying out floor plans is you make your houses way too big and you make the rooms in them way too big. You don't need a lot of space. To test this out, to see how much room you really need, you can just go grab filler furniture. Grab a random couch, see how it fits in the room you just built. Entry area, again, this is probably going to be nothing and is going to be torn down. I just built it up because it helps me visualize it better. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to block this off and this will most likely be a bathroom. You can kind of just piece everything together almost like a puzzle. This is a 3x2 area. That is the perfect size for a full-size bathroom with a shower, toilet, and sink will all fit in there perfectly fine. You can even do a smaller one that's as small as this one here and it'll still be a functional bathroom. If I know I'm going to have a room here and I'm going to have a bathroom back here, I know I need to have a door entering from either this way or from this living room area that I made here. So I can leave that open, but I can also come over here and see, well, maybe a bedroom could go good here. I could do that and we can have a door here, which means then I would have to have this be where the door is for the bathroom, which might seem a little odd depending on the style of house you're doing. So that's also going to be something that you have to think about when you're building this house is, are you building a specific style? If you're building a cottage, it's probably going to have a different layout than a colonial home would or a modern home. There's very distinct styles for different types of houses. Obviously, modern tends to be more open concept, whereas a colonial might be very closed off and have a lot of rooms that aren't typically open to each other. Now, this is a big house, so I really do think I can probably fit 3 bedrooms and at least 2 bathrooms in here. I'm going to take this and block this off because I think this might be where we put our primary bedroom over here. So then I might take this and maybe make a nice big bathroom over here, and that'll be the bathroom that attaches to that primary bedroom. Again, I personally like to put my kitchens in the back of the house. You do not have to. It's just what I tend to do. You will figure out your own style as you build. So I'm thinking maybe this could be our kitchen area here. And again, I'm going to block off this whole thing. This whole thing is not actually going to be the kitchen. It's just going to help me lay it out a little better in my mind. So then this will be like a dining area in here. And I know I need this area open, at least like this, to be kind of a hallway into here. And this is just me like marking off what I'm doing. If I did this, at least I know I need this area kind of open because I know I need a door that goes to here and I need an entrance into here as well. And like I said, I can fit 3 bedrooms in here. I'm actually going to pull this out one more. So this room will be a little bit smaller, but it adds in quite a bit more room into our primary bedroom, which is nice because I usually like to put like a little couch or sitting area in primary bedrooms, which is totally unnecessary, but something I really enjoy doing. Your bedrooms also don't need to be perfect rectangles or perfect squares. They can have a little bit of a a fun shape, even if it's just a small bump out like this or an angle, especially if I'm doing a kid's room, because I can do a single bed or bunk beds in here. If you're planning to do like a full-size bed in a room, you are going to need that space because it's going to take up this whole area right here, and you're going to need room for your Sims to walk around. And while you're looking at this, you might find things that you can change around even more. For example, if I didn't want one of these to be a bedroom, I can just turn it into an office space or a gym, or if your Sim has some other kind of fun hobby, you can do that too. Another thing we can do is we could actually make this into another private bathroom for this specific bedroom, and then this could be like a guest room, and then we can take this area and make this into a bathroom, and then the door would be into here. And look at that, we have a floor plan. I just threw some lights in just so you can see a little better, but this is the outside of our house, and this is the floor plan I just created. The next thing I'm gonna do is go in with my doors. I'm just gonna grab something really basic for now. It's gonna be a bathroom for this bedroom, so I will put the door inside of this bedroom. Then we're going to have a bathroom here. We have a bedroom right here, and I think it would be kind of fun to put the door on the angle there. This is an entranceway. This is the primary bedroom, and this is the primary bathroom. And then what I like to do, just to make things a little bit more open rather than closed off, I'll use archways a lot in things like this. So this is the living room area. This is going to be the kitchen area. That's all set up nicely now. I'm just gonna throw a front door on just so you can kind of see exactly how this is laid out. And then, like I said, I usually like to do sliding glass back door, just like that, something simple. When I'm building really big homes, I tend to still do this, but if you're a beginner builder and you're kind of trying to figure out how to space things, what dimensions to use, this can help you out a lot. Just take a random item, and these don't have to be the ones you're actually using. You don't have to decide on that yet, but I can take this to make sure that I have a good size for what I want to go in this room. So I know I want this to probably be a teenager's room or a kid's room. So I'm gonna throw this bed in here just as a size marker so I can see. Typically, you're also gonna put a dresser, so you could throw a random dresser. And if I do a teen's room, I also usually like to put a desk. So I'm just gonna grab a placeholder and kind of throw it in there. Let's make sure we have bb.moveobjects on, yeah? Also, something I like to remind people of is kids' rooms, teenagers' rooms, they're gonna tend to be more crowded than a regular adult bedroom would be, just because all of their stuff is going to be shoved into one room. So to size out the main bedroom, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take big bed. Again, this is not the one I would genuinely grab and use here. This is a huge bedroom, by the way. I could even take this and make it into a separate room as well, because I don't need this big of a room. I can make this just go in a bit more. While you're messing around with your floor plan, you might end up with something weird like this little cubby here. Sometimes I'll make these on purpose, and what you could do is make it into a little closet area like this, or you could take a small single place desk like this and use it as a little study area. Another thing you can do instead of using the actual furniture is you can just take rugs and use them to kind of size things. A rug like this is a good size to go under a bed, so you might end up using this in a bedroom just to kind of see if you can fit a bed in it, or how the bed should face. You can also use a rug this size to kind of plan out where a dining table can go. Another thing that can help you really lay out your floor plan is your windows. I'll only build windows on the front and the back of the house, and the front matters a whole lot more to me because that's really what you're looking at. So I'm gonna put a bay window here, and maybe I will just throw some of these seasons windows up. Figuring out where your front door is gonna be and where the windows on the front of the house are gonna be is gonna help you a lot with the floor plan, because obviously you are not going to be able to build a wall that goes into the window. That's just not gonna work out well for you. Again, I usually only do the windows on the front and the back before I start decorating, because those are the ones that like matter to me, if that makes sense. My final tip to you is literally just to get your butt on Pinterest. Get on there, look up floor plans, and there's a ton of free ones here you can easily copy in The Sims. You don't need to be trying to build this extraordinary 3-bedroom French country cottage with dramatic arches. You don't need to do this to yourself. If you want to, good on you, go for it. However, if you're struggling with a floor plan, I definitely recommend starting with something much more simple than that. You're probably gonna wanna go for something like this. Another thing that I like to look up on here is actually doll houses. Some of them can be really useful for finding the shape of the outside of houses, not so much the floor plans, because you're most likely not going to have a Sims house that looks like this, and it probably would not be functional knowing how finicky The Sims is. However, there are some beautiful, beautiful doll houses, especially for me because I love building Victorian. You can find really simplistic looking houses, kind of like this one. It looks like a little townhome, or you can find things that might be a bit more difficult for you to build. But either way, doll houses are a good place to look just for finding the outside of the house. Is this the house from Full House? Wait a minute. Pinterest is a really useful site because if you like any of these, you can simply just save it to your board. I have a board titled Sims Builds, and it's just anything I like that I'm like, I could build that in The Sims. That seems like a good inspiration picture. This is not sponsored by Pinterest, by the way. I just want to make that clear. But hey, Pinterest, if you're watching this, I hope this little tutorial helped. If you have any more questions, please feel free to ask. I'm always willing to answer and help anyone out any way I can. Also, I'm probably gonna go decorate this house now, and I'll put it up on the gallery if anyone wants it. The gallery ID is Ajiri with 3 I's, Ajiri. You just drop me a follow on there and here. Why not?